everyone, and welcome back to Ridertown Radio. We're finally back, kind of. We're missing a person.
Yeah, we're down a guy. A part of the wall collapsed on him when we were trying to repair the holes, so he's out of commission for a couple weeks, or if not more.
Yep, so...
But we finally got the holes fixed, for
Yep,
now.
we're still gonna have to send off that bill at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... It's just me and Noble here today, and because it's just the two of us, and because we are behind on everything, like... Oh, we have so many episodes of Ghost, and we have to talk about Zeal, and we have Dino Charge, and just... Everything. But yeah, so because it's just the two of us, we're just going to be doing a quick episode talking about all this crap from Dino Charge that we missed because we want to keep the Ghost and Zeodra stuff for when Biff's here. So hopefully it won't be too much longer till he's back, and we'll be back on our normal scheduling. Until then, just you're stuck with some weird impromptu episodes, I guess. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But yeah, so that's pretty much just the housekeeping, and for you those listening who were wondering why all the episodes were late, that's my fault. It's mostly just being lazy and distracted by anime. Because that is a deep, dark hole. So yeah, I will be doing what I can to try and be a little bit more timely with uploads again. But yeah, so that's the housekeeping done. Let's just get into the dino stuff.
Dinosaurs
Yeah, sadly,
are... I can't think of a good segue.
we never do. Anyway, but yeah, so sadly, Dino Supercharge is still not really being much to talk about, to be honest. I mean, episode. Let's see. Let's just do this in quick, rapid fire order. Episode 3. The only thing of real interest: Heckle revealed himself. Episode 4. Sin showed up, so we finally have
Endorf
yeah, Endorf's
from Pure
counterpart.
User.
Episode 5. Tyler's dad is here. Episode.
And Tyler's a T-Rex for some reason. He
Yeah.
finally revealed his true furry intentions. He's T-Rex kid.
Oh, jeez.
Can't wait for the hate mail now.
And then episode 6, Tyler's dad leaves. And
Yeah.
episode 7 has something to do with baseball.
Yep, and
Yeah.
we've seen Carnival in the few episodes, but they don't call it Carnival, they call it Super T-Rex mode or something like that.
Yeah. The mode that somehow manages to break the laws of reality. Because you have episode 6. The guys are fighting in the Megazord using the T-Rex formation, and he calls for carnival form, and somehow the T-Rex doesn't leave them.
Well, in the new figures, they classify both Zords as two separate Zords on the figure boxes. So
let me get this.
technically, the action figures answered your loophole.
That implies that there's two T-Rex Zords, one of which he's throwing the battery to shrink into his gun.
I think it's a very awkward hole to try to explain.
It's a T-Rex-sized hole.
There's a T-Rex-sized hole in Daredevil Season 2. If not a bigger, but that's not what we're talking about, so...
Yeah, I haven't seen Season 2. I barely started Season 1. So...
Yeah, but,
Wrong show, anyway.
yeah. We get to see Carnival, one of the weirdest upgrades in a season I've ever seen, but it's the Battleizer.
Yep, and I will give them credit for this, they did actually bother to change the transformation sequence, because there's no dancing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Although I missed the dancing dinosaurs.
We get to talk about dancing dinosaurs next week.
Yep, or hopefully whenever.
Hopefully next week.
Yes, because the retrospective for this month was supposed to be Kyoryuger, but scheduling conflicts have put that on hold, so...
Yep.
That'll come out whenever it comes out, so look forward to that eventually.
Yeah, but for those of you who've never watched Kyoryuger or Dino Charge, and you're listening to this for some reason, the Carnival Battleizer basically turns the Red Ranger into the equivalent of the default Megazord, where his arms can get upgrades from the other Limb Zords throughout the season.
Yeah, for example, just my favorite combination, which is Western mode. It's like put in a Raptor battery and a Paras
Parasaur.
yeah, Parasaur battery, and one arm gets a big old cannon, the other gets a pair of or a set of slashing claws like Wolverine.
Yeah, one of the forms I don't think we're gonna get is the Pleasuo form.
To be fair, that wasn't even a whatchamacallit, that wasn't even a
Oh,
carnival
true, that
form.
wasn't a carnival form, you're right.
That was just a one-off for that hyper battle or whatever they call them. Because
But could you imagine if that was a weapon for carnival, though?
yeah, I could see that working, but at the same time,
And
it's
then give
like,
him the
eh.
packy arm for the other side.
Oh yeah, the old ball and chain.
Yeah, because, that's one of the technical forms.
I'm waiting to see if they'll use the what color? What other sword did he use? Oh yeah, the double blue combination.
I doubt it, they're both the same limb, technically.
I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
The Ankylo Stego.
No, the other double blue.
Oh! Are you talking about Megazords?
No, I'm talking about the carnival mode. There's okay. I don't think you've seen that one. I guess.
I don't think I have. No.
Okay, in Kyoryuger, there's an episode where the villain from the summer movie comes back, and he ends up using the Spinosaurus and Stegosaurus together. That's why I called
Oh.
it the double blue.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen screenshots of that. Yeah, that was weird. Cause didn't he have like the Spino axe thing?
Yeah, and then a tiny little boomerang.
Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, that was weird.
That was probably one of the coolest episodes of Kyoryuger, though, because you got to see all of them morph at once!
Yeah,
All 10 of them at the same freaking time. But yeah,
one of the
so.
few. That is one of the few photos I have saved on my phone of just all of them standing there with the words of their like essentially it's the sub, and it's just all the different names of their things under them.
But yeah, to say the least, Dino Charge has been honestly kind of disappointing, because it's just like, either
Yeah,
the episodes are just kind of meh, or in the case of Tyler's dad, you feel it's kind of pointless to even really
yeah, it feels
exist.
yeah, it feels pointless, and the only reason I feel like they're more or less doing it is because, hey, let's we really like, everyone's really trying to speculate on who the Cyan Ranger is. Let's make it Tyler's dad.
Just to screw with everybody.
Yeah, because everyone wanted him to be Silver.
Well, I mean, just think about his whole story, though. I mean, the guy gets trapped underground while doing excavation, because, that's the kind of, that's his work. And he finds the Energem. And then he's on the run because of Fury. His friend Rusty knew the whole time, or at least for a good while, that, the guy's a ranger. He could have gone to Tyler and basically told him that your dad can't come home because it's dangerous, but he's out there and, just like say something that would have been like, okay, to reassure him instead of, the whole thing where it just seems like dad's abandoned him storyline.
Yeah, or that he thought that Fury killed him.
Or yeah, exactly. Because then you could have had the whole thing with Tyler being he knows his dad's out there and he's trying to find him to bring him home,
Yeah, and then there
or
was that
something like
episode
that.
with the Wish Monster where he actually sees his dad and his dad runs like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, and then that would have at least made a little more sense, and he could have had some lines like trying to call him back saying he doesn't have to run anymore. Also, just because this also irks me, he must have been hanging out under some kind of massive rock of some kind to not realize the other Dino Rangers were active and have come out of hiding sooner. Like, seriously? Do you, like, not watch the news or something? Like, I don't know where you're hiding out, but clearly you didn't know about these guys being active until, like, just barely recently.
I mean, do we really even know if the news knows about these guys? I mean, we've
There's
never seen.
giant. Okay, to be fair, giant robots and giant monsters stomping around the city. Someone's gonna notice this!
Right, but it's like,
Also, if the
if
news can report on Santa being missing, I think they can report on Power Rangers. And I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
that's fine, but it's like, in a world where a monster can pop up, where a monster has popped up once a week, basically, and you're still having outdoor activities and the entire city doesn't live in some protective bunker.
I know, the world of Power Rangers and the logic behind them is just I mean, at least with Japan, you can make the joke. Yeah, it happens every other week. Like over there's that's where Godzilla stomps around. Over there, that's where Ultraman stomps around. It's like
Over there, that's where the mecha stomps around. Over there, that's where Jay stomps around.
I know. It's just like with Japan and their stuff, they have giant monsters. Like I'd imagine if you have like look at all the Toku universes and how many of them have giant monsters, you have a monster
Hmm.
attack for every day of the week,
Pretty
which is
much.
which is ridiculous. Whereas Power Rangers, it's at least once a week or something,
Yeah.
or twice a week in the rare cases of two-parters.
Yeah.
But yeah, just Dino Supercharged just feels like a complete downgrade from Dino Charge. I mean,
Yeah. It feels kind of like the writing kind of got flubbed because it's like, okay, I'm gonna hammer out these great episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, there's a season. Whew, I'm tired.
plus the
Oh,
holiday specials.
yeah, it's like, oh man, yeah, that was great. I did one whole season. I need to make another one with the exact same characters with an even shorter time frame. Okay.
It just I feel like okay. I think if you were to look at season one or the first half fairly, there is still a lot of flaws in Dino Charge. I mean, looking back at it, it's like they don't explain anything about these energems, like how they were made, how they all work exactly, and all that stuff.
They also don't explain why, for some reason, Shelby and Tyler are the only. Shelby, Tyler, and I want to say Prince Philip were the only ones to get fossil morphers.
You can probably assume that the other two had them as well because they were already active for a while.
Right, but like they never explain why they get the morpher at all. It's just like you bonded with the Energem. You're a Power Ranger now.
No, go figure
Okay.
this one out. Shelby and Tyler got blasters. Riley got a sword.
I think it was because of the thing he was holding.
I'm gonna guess maybe, but and then there's like the other thing that's like, how much of this gear does the Energem actually generate? Because in the episode where Tyler's dad shows up, he automatically has himself a Dino Drive charger. Like,
I think with that it was more or less just Kendall knew there was going to be the Cyan Ranger because Anki Don was already active, so she made one in lieu of that.
so you can assume like someone slipped it to him off screen
Yeah, mid
somehow. And
battle. Or because for some reason when they morph, they all have the communicators that are also battery holders that she used some sort of MacGuffin teleportation device that auto teleports the batteries into the belt.
I guess or something. I don't know. It's just bizarre.
Because they never show them reloading those belts.
That's true. They don't.
They
They
just show you the stock footage opening the belt, pull out the battery.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you have the whole weird snafu with the energems in that one episode where Singe manages to shut them down and whatever. And I'm just sitting here like, that's not how the energems and the chargers are supposed to work. Because they're like, as long as you have these on, you can't morph using the energems. I'm like, you don't morph using the energems. You morph using the chargers. I thought that was what the point of them was. You make them so you can use the power of the gems without the gems themselves.
Also, a thing that I thought about when Heckle was in their base and like he got his memories back. Why? Like he's in their base. There's got to be Dino Chargers just in the base that are charged.
Yeah.
If you just pocketed a few of those from every goddamn color that's there,
In theory,
you'd have a lot. You'd have a better chance of using those against the Rangers than trying to steal the Energem.
so in theory, you could do like what Fury was doing, using the energy to power an energem,
Not
or
even
I
that.
mean a charger.
Yeah, not even that. Just steal just steal the Chargers.
I could see him actually doing that. Like he could have stolen the chargers, stuck them, and like used some of the tech on the ship, and like that could have been how you generate the Navy charger, and not
Maybe
have to worry
yeah.
about an energem.
Have it
Eh,
be like he steals the red Charger, the blue Charger, and the cyan Charger, and uses all their energy to make some sort of like amalgamation of the Stego Charger or something like that, or the
Maybe.
Spino Charger.
Speaking of Hackle, let's talk about that. Do you think he blew his cover too early?
I think that they shouldn't have done it,
Yeah, I feel like they could have played that out a little bit more.
but the reason I say they shouldn't have done it is I say that they should have had it be where, oh, we found this extra energem that's not part of the main 10, and you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I can see where you're playing at.
Yeah, and then him be like, oh, that's a cool gem. Hey, that gem bonded with me. Sweet.
And Evil
I
Ranger.
am ultimate evil.
They could still do that, but they'd have to have Heckle find the gem first.
Yeah, they'd have to have him find the
Or
thing
they
or have him make it.
or they find it and then he steals it from them and it binds with him or whatever.
Did Dogol die throughout, like, near the end of the series of Kyoryuger?
I want to say yes. I think he and Uchi had like some epic final confrontation that almost killed Uchi as well. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they had their final bout thing.
Because, like, if he's, like, dead before the end of the series, I think I might have a way that Heckle can make the Navy Energem.
Yeah, what would that be?
Well, as we've known, Fury has had the Gold Ranger and his energy from his Energem inside of him.
Yeah.
So what if there's, like, a residual, more or less, energy within Fury that's still there? So when Fury gets officially defeated, Heckle uses some MacGuffin device to essentially absorb the energy and make his own energem out of like a fossil he stole from a drop off at the museum.
Okay, yeah, I could see that working. Yeah, I do have to wonder if the Navy power, if they actually use that suit, is it going to come from an energem or just a
Charger.
generated charger?
Because, I mean, the Morpher makes the noise for Talon Ranger.
So we know that they have at least some idea planned. It's just whether or not they're going to execute it and how.
Right, yeah.
Or if it's going to become one of those things like the extra unused shift cars from Drive, where the noises are there but the toys were never made.
Yeah. Or like the ghost icons
Yeah.
for the extra heroes that are getting like TV Neon magazine releases.
Oh yeah, those things.
You know, the useless icons that the clicky part is useless on.
But yeah, it's just there's a lot with Dino Charge. It's just kind of like, what are they going to do? And on top of that, it kind of sucks that you have these other characters who are rangers, but they're barely in the costumes. Like Kendall barely gets any screen time in her suit. Philip kind of shows up in one episode, fucks off for a few episodes, and then finally shows up again, and then presumably fucks off again.
Yeah, and then comes back again to bail out characters in another thing in another episode that we're not talking about this week.
And it's just like, so I don't get it. It's like, yeah, the whole ball just feels like they've been dropped on Dino Supercharged. It's like,
Yeah.
writing's all over the joints. Things that should make sense don't. It's just like, what is going on, guys?
Yep.
My honest feeling is like, when they were doing the first half of the show, Dino Charge, they basically went.
Oh god, sorry.
Someone's playing with his morpher.
Well, since I have it here, when I mentioned the whole thing about the Spino battery being a thing, I don't own the Spinozord, but I found a way to hack the Morpher. I put a AA battery in. I want to say I put it in plus side towards the exit. So, I mean, it says Power Ranger Talon, so So it has to be something with the
Well, we already know that
thing.
that Zord is going to come out at least in toy form, so in
Yeah, the
theory,
Zord's already out in toy form, so
it's going to show up. The question is, what are they doing with it? Because I see them doing one of two things with it. Is either one, they're going to actually bring out the Death Reuger costume and have someone play as an evil ranger for a little while and drive that Zord, since you can probably actually that is probably going to be the trickier part though, is the actual footage of the battle sequence itself, because they would probably have to make original Zord combat footage for it,
why?
because there isn't really that much of it in for Kyoryuger to use, or in Kyoryuger for them to use, because I believe that Megazord combo only got used maybe 3 times. Once in the summer movie, once in the or twice in the show, and I think one of the times was against Greenzilla or Dayboss anyway. Like I think that would probably be the only stickler for them trying to do much with the Talon Ranger or Navy, whatever you want to call it. Basically, Death
Yeah.
Reuger. But then again, if they decide to just go the route of making OG Zord combat footage, which I don't know how often they do that, but if they did it, then you could play around with that a little bit.
True.
But yeah, so I basically see them doing either they bring out the actual Death Reuger costume, we have an evil ranger running around for a while, and then they eventually beat him and take his gem or whatever they use for power, or two, and this is probably going to be the more likely thing, just they somehow that Spinosaur charger gets fabricated and unlocks an ancient Zord that's been locked away for who knows how long, and basically there's just an evil Zord running around for a little bit until they get control of it.
I kind of feel like with the whole thing of like maybe Heckle crafts the Spinozord as like a combatants against the other Zords because
So you think
reasons.
so you think Hackle might actually build the Spinozord?
He might have his lackeys build the Spinozord, maybe, just so it, again, starts off evil, because we know Keeper never had a Navy Energem to give.
That actually is a very good thing that you just reminded me of this. Where did the Zords even come from? Like,
From what I'm gonna take a wild swing at is that it's somehow the dinosaurs that were entrusted with the power of the Energems after they died, their quote unquote DNA a la Jurassic Park got trapped in the Dino Charger or the Energem, and when the Energem got activated, it more or less sent out an energy that somehow used itself to manifest the Zords.
yeah, that's
Kind of
very
like how
far
the
fetched.
Ghost Driver just randomly manifests the hoodies,
I guess I honestly
or
have.
how the Trideron randomly throws out tires that don't exist.
Yeah, I have honestly no clue how or where these Zords came from, and it sucks because this is so far the only season that I can think of where they don't ever have an explanation for it. Like MMPR, all those Zords had explanations. Were they great? Not really, in some cases, but they have explanations. Zeo, they built them. Turbo, they built them. In space, they were constructed somewhere. Lost Galaxy, they were things that turned into
Wasn't
Zords.
one of the ones in space one of their spaceship anyways?
Yeah, like it was built somewhere.
Right.
I think,
Lost Galaxy, they were beasts.
yeah. Lightspeed, built them. Time Force, built them. Wild Force,
They were
well,
actual living creatures.
yeah, again. Ninja Storm, constructed. Dino Thunder, Tommy fucked up and built them.
No, it wasn't even that. They were dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Because the early episodes, they
like,
had to
well, they were like
tame.
Biozords or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to tame them, and then all the other ones kind of hatched from eggs, and that season had
Then
a
they
few
had to
weird
be tamed after
spots.
they grew. It was weird.
Yeah, those had a few weird spots too. SPD, obviously, constructed. Mystic Force, they became the Zords.
Yeah, they were the Zords.
Overdrive, built. Jungle Fury, they summoned them.
Jungle Fury, they kind of, sort of pulled a Mystic Force and became the Zords.
Yeah, RPM, obviously they were built by somebody,
They were
Dr.
built
K.
by Dr. K.
Yeah, and then, I think the only other one that's kind of like, where the heck did they come from? Oh, right, out of Gosei's non-existent ass. Like, most
Yeah.
crap in that show, but who the fuck cares about Super Mega Force and Mega Force? And, oh yeah, I forgot, Samurai. They were pretty much carrying them around in their pockets.
Yeah, they were carrying them around a
But,
la.
but presumably, somebody built them.
Yeah, I mean, even with going on with the show that we're going to talk about in a couple weeks with Zoologer, after these Zords were just cubes that were, I'm going to guess, part of like an ancient building or whatever, and then they're alive in Zoologer. The cubes are alive,
But yeah, like the
and
whole
then
point.
they shrink down just like in Samurai.
Yeah, like the whole point is that pretty much up until this point, all the Zords have had some answer for where they came from.
Even in Japan, they did.
Yeah,
Because
most of the time in Japan they do too. It's
Because
like,
in Japan, the Voltosaurs, which is what the Dino Charge Zords are properly named, they were literally the 23 great legendary spirits total were given life by the Zudenshi and turned into their Zords.
yeah, basically. So they have more of an answer for where the Zords came from than the freaking American version does.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like there's so much not explained here, and I know that you can't explain everything all the time, but given the history of this franchise, you could spend a little time to explain some of this crap. I
You'd
mean,
think they would.
heck, we don't even really know what the Energems can honestly do all that much. All we know is they stop you from aging and occasionally give you superpowers because, flipping a car off a dude in the first episode or second
Yeah,
episode.
I think that's more or less like it was giving them a little bit of strength to aid them, but officially that's more or less a power given to them when they're in their ranger form.
You know what kind of silly is the fact that or the Energems might allow you to live forever unless you get killed. I would rather have a Dino Gem because at least I could get super speed, that armor thing, invisibility, or that screech attack. I would rather be a Dino Thunder Ranger than a
What
Dino
did
Charge
or did
Ranger.
Tommy not have a thing with his?
His was invisibility.
Oh, right, because that was a plot point because he had to call in his lines because he has to go to every single comic convention he's invited to.
Yeah, although his and Trent's were almost identical, considering Trent's was like camouflage.
Yeah.
But either way, I would rather have a Dino Gem than an Energem. Yeah, it's just like,
I'd rather have a rider belt, but that's just me.
yeah, I know, I'd rather have a Rider Belt too, but yeah, it's just, and you even have like stuff with Keeper they don't explain. It's like, where did he come from? Like, what's his home planet like? How did he become the guardian of the Energems?
Where did the Energems officially come from?
Yeah, like how were they made, or whatever is their reason for existing, or something. Like,
I,
hello.
I yeah, I said this a while back when I was on I think it was when we were on Silver Metal. I was like, I really want to see a fan art thing of the fuck, what's it called? The home base for
What, the museum or whatever?
MMPR, the home base for that. I forgot if the command center. I want to see the command center like in one area with its dinosaurs. I want to see Keeper landing on the other side with his dinosaurs. And the meteor shower that kills all the dinosaurs houses the 5 gems for Dino Thunder. That's how
Uh,
they're all able to coexist at the same time.
yeah.
The meteor knocks Zordon and Alpha into more or less stasis and covers and essentially buries the dinosaurs for them. The gems fall and hide themselves from the meteor shower for that, and then Keeper somehow survived all of it.
Yeah, that's another thing. Speaking of the whole Keeper surviving thing, you have villains who have somehow survived for going by in Showtime, 65 plus million years, and they didn't die. Like, okay, I get it. They're most of them are aliens, so maybe they have insanely long lifespans, but that is just too much of a logic leap to swallow.
Well, not only that, if you think about it, not only did they all live, but Keeper survived a global catastrophe.
Yeah, like, is he even alive or is he like a ghost? Like, what is his deal? Like, how did he survive that?
I kind of feel like the reason they're not explaining it is because we're going to get Torin syndrome, and I don't want Torin syndrome. I want actual Torin. But I feel like
uh,
the reason he's alive is because the silver energem gave him, or made it, like whatever the silver dinosaur was, protected him somehow, and he's alive, and
uh,
MacGuffins.
we'll see, but, yeah. And of course, speaking of Torrent, I would rather have him as the mentor than Keeper, honestly.
Damn right.
Torrent was way more badass, and he was actually around more often, because
Right, and
that's
as we
another thing
said,
with, like, this.
the toys come with the Torin sword.
Yeah, like, that's the other thing, is, like, with Torrent, he was always around, and he often gave advice to the other Rangers. Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have Keeper who just kind of phases in and out and barely does anything.
Not only that, he was like barely in the last few episodes.
I know, right? Like, what's the deal with this guy? It's just,
Yeah.
you're trying to.
Speaking of Torin, he's actually an Easter egg in Chroma Squad.
Oh, yeah, Torrent's bravery is one of the skills.
Yeah, it's one of these skills for the assist or the healer.
Yeah, I thought
It
that was cool.
reverses all your healing effects to do damage to the bad guys.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Oh, it's great. Except for the part where it doesn't also heal except for the part where it doesn't heal your teammates.
Yeah, well, it's reversing the effect, so.
I know.
But yeah, so it's just. Is there anything else we can whine about with Dino Charge? Because that's kind of what this episode's turned into. It's just us talking about this and complaining.
Give us two holes in the goddamn gun already.
Yeah, talk about inconsistency for you there. Toy has only one hole. Gun in the show
Not
has
only
two.
that, I mean, I like that we're getting the Giga Gabu revolver.
Oh
They're
yeah,
also
the
repainting the sword to match that, which I like.
yeah that is kind of cool, I guess. Although feels kind of unnecessary if you ask me.
It's totally unnecessary, but it's
Especially,
nice because it makes the cannon mode look pretty.
well, it makes it flow better. We'll say that, but
Yeah. But then we're getting like the mustard or like the dark green morpher too.
yeah, what's the point of that?
It's because repaints.
Ugh. Yeah, I
But
know.
we are getting a silver mini Tira, or like a white mini Tira.
AKA Mini Tira from 100 Years
100 years
After.
later, yeah.
But yeah, so there's just a lot that could happen with this, and then at the same time, there's a lot
There's
that.
a lot that doesn't as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, what do we have to look forward to? We have the reveal of the Silver Ranger, whoever the heck that might be. The
And
possibility of the Tauren suit,
yeah,
given the swords in the toys.
yeah, and the fact that we're getting that they made the evil Tauren a figure,
Okay, so we have at least that coming.
maybe.
There's the possibility of
Navy Ranger.
possibility of the Navy Ranger, or at least seeing the Zord. We know we're gonna at least see the Zord because the toys exist, and they have to sell that thing
Well, I
somehow.
mean, we also have a lot of other Zords that don't exist. Like my good buddy Dinosaurus. Or
This
or the
Ammonite.
Oviraptor. Or
Wait,
the Ammonite. Or the turtle that turns into a saw for some reason.
wait, they actually released the Oviraptor.
They're releasing it. It has a crossbow tail.
Okay, interesting.
And they're also releasing the turtle, and its ability when you put in a battery is its shell like protrudes out, and there's like a saw in it.
All right, I'll give the toy line at least that. The fact that they're bringing out those other Zords is kind of
The fact
cool.
that they're doing stuff that everyone wanted Japan to do.
Yeah, that I will say that is cool. But yeah, so we have Potential for Navy Ranger slash the Navy Zord to show up. Let's see, we already said Tauren, Silver Ranger. And, like, the only other big thing that there is potential for is, if they decide to do something with it, a triple Dino team appearance or something. Because they do have
That
the
yeah,
footage
that's
from that
really the
movie.
only that's really the only other bread and butter they could have.
It's literally a case of will they or won't they? Especially considering, that movie is where the sledge suit, or not sledge, snide suit's from.
Yeah,
Get the
but you
damn
know what
name
the
right.
best part about that is though? All the Tommy fanboys are gonna hate that. Because none of his forms are in that damn movie. Because
That
they're
is
dead
true.
in their respective series in Japan.
Well, let's see. Barai's dead. Abre Killer's dead. Or no, wait, no, that wasn't even him. That was Trent.
Supposedly the Black Ranger is dead, but that's why he never showed up.
I think the Black Ranger was living in a different universe. He was living in
Uh,
the universe where the dinosaurs came from.
okay, well, MacGuffin, he's not in the actual universe. That's why he wasn't in the thing.
Yeah, I believe that's
That's
what
why I'm
happened.
kind of worried that they're gonna turn Jason David Frank into the Silver Ranger, but I know that they're not because he's still going to conventions and bullshit.
He's also isn't he still in UFC too?
I don't know, considering that he's at every single goddamn Wizard World Comic Con.
I thought he was supposed to be training in UFC, or maybe they kicked him out of it because he kept trying to challenge CM Punk too many times.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't care. Jason David Frank's ego is just annoying.
If you thought Tommy during the Green with Evil had a big ego, you haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I'd say the
Please
least.
send your hate mail to @thenoble117 on Twitter. I
uh,
will personally reply to every single hate comment.
and we actually even get any comments. We barely do, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so literally, what is there really to look forward to with this show at this point?
Well, the only thing I can think of that we might be able to look forward to besides the things that we mentioned is maybe Saban will give us more original suits besides us Rangers. And the one monster, maybe we'll actually see what maybe auxiliary Zords that exist in our toy line as Megazord formations.
Hey, that would be cool, but that's like the one snafu with PRs that no matter, even if you make brand new cockpits, they don't often remake Sword footage. Like, I can't honestly think of the last time we had original Zord footage that didn't come out of Japan.
We did some for Dino Charge, I thought.
If there is, I don't know where it is because, the way that the
We
Kyoryuger shot and Dino Charger shot, they meld together way too well. So,
yeah.
honestly, I have no idea if there's been new footage or not. The only new Zord footage I can think of is the first time they met Rexy and the horrible CGI that was.
To be honest, I don't even think that. I think that was literally just the scene when Daigo met Rexy, and they just like photoshopped him out of that scene and put him into the other scene.
I don't
I
think Gabutira was ever CG like that. I'm
There
pretty sure.
was maybe once or twice he was.
I think most of the time Gabutira, when he was CG, was like maybe coming out of the volcano
When
first,
he
and then
did that weird spin attack thing.
yeah, and then whenever he transforms into Mini Tira,
Yeah.
the most adorable little dinosaur of death. I
I
don't
love that everything but his feet shrink really small first, and then his feet get a little smaller.
know. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted a Mini Tira.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's so cute.
by far one of the best things in the goddamn toy line.
Yeah,
The only thing better than that in Japan for the Kyoryuger toy line is Kyoryugen because it reads all the damn batteries.
that is true. Whereas,
No, technically Black Kyoryugen because it comes with an extra battery that names every single Super Sentai up to it.
really,
Yes,
no,
all the way from the very beginning to that.
huh?
When Shuken Shinobi did his review of it, they use that battery, and he's just sitting there messing with Black Drakira and Black Stagochi, just like moving them around.
It's been a long time since I've seen that video, so actually I'm trying to remember if
Because,
I did see that video. I
cause
don't
like I'm
remember.
sitting there, I'm like, wow, it's naming all these guys.
It's like this is gonna take a while.
Then it's like, it's not stopping. It's not stopping. Okay, I know that. Wait, I know that. Oh God, that's not even close to this. Jesus.
But yes, to say the least, like, is there stuff in Dino Charge to look forward to? Probably. Do we have any idea what it is? No.
Right. The only thing I can think of is thank God this week's episode wasn't a goddamn Easter episode.
Let's be fair, Easter is not really heavily done
I
in
mean,
Toku.
technically, you could say the episode that we got this week kind of is in a way, but not really.
Uh, isn't Dino Charge doing a season break soon? Or a mid-season finale thing soon? I thought I read that somewhere.
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
So the show's gonna be on break again soon enough.
Yay, we get to talk about Fies again.
Uh, if we're getting back on our proper scheduling, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because we still have to do like a bunch of catch up for Ghost and Zealoger, and I don't know if we're gonna do rapid fire like this or break it up into multiple episodes or something.
I say we just rapid fire because if we don't, good God, that's gonna be a while. Ghost will be over, and Kamen Rider whatever's after Ghost will be on. It's like, okay, and now we're on Ghost episode 30.
Kind of like how Toku sometimes does it whenever they have fall
Yeah, it's
behinds.
like, okay, guys, the third season after Ghost aired. Okay, so Ghost episode 22.
Uh, but anyway,
God,
yes.
can you imagine that?
Oh,
Good
jeez.
Lord.
Uh, but yeah, we'll figure out what we're gonna be doing with that. Mm, yeah, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, is there anything else really to say about Dino Charge at this point? I mean, we've spent nearly an hour mostly complaining.
The only things I can say are complaints, so no.
Yeah, like, I mean, in fairness, to try and be at least a little positive, there have been some good moments here and there, but there's also just been a lot of ridiculous nonsense that's kind of like,
Right,
what?
but I mean, again, this is us grown adults talking about a show for kids, so we can't really complain that much about certain things. But yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and the worst part is, though, is that this kids show arguments kind of carries, but kind of doesn't at the same time, considering there are smarter shows for kids out there, and, you know, despite,
Some that are smarter shows for even younger kids.
yeah, and I mean, like, even though a lot of kids today are admittedly not as bright, or not very bright, there are others who will pay more attention than we realize and will notice stuff like that too. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's just kind of like, what is going on? All I can say is I hope whatever they do with the next season, Ninja Steel. Oh boy, I just hope that will be an interesting improvement. Or
I kind of feel like that's when we fall off of Power Rangers. Depending, because the way that they explained it kind of looks good.
yeah, the premise they've given so far, it looks cool. It sounds very interesting.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds
But
cool. We'll see how they play with it.
granted, that the way that they were explaining that kind of made me feel like they were almost given the this is what this show should have been like kind of thing. Not saying now when I say this show, I don't mean Dino Charge. I'm just using the word this show as just a bland statement.
But yeah, so we'll see how that turns out whenever that starts. Probably sometime next year, I'm gonna guess.
If anything, it was probably when did Dino Charge start?
I want to say it was 2015.
And right, and then Super Dino Charge started in like January.
Yeah,
I can see it probably starting around. I think Dino Charge started in like August.
yeah. So who knows? Maybe Ninja Steel will be starting in August this year. We'll see what
Who knows?
happens. But yeah, so unless we just really want to ride the complaint train some more, I think that's pretty much all we got at this point.
Yeah, that's all we have because I
Episode,
don't want to ride the complaint train anymore.
yeah, just episodes have been very much up and down, and hopefully the rest of the season picks up and improves. But at this point, I'm honestly not holding my breath for it.
I feel like the only reason the show seems really down is because it's a lot of just filler in the episodes
Yeah,
and a few seconds of plot.
yeah. Now that you bring that up, I mean, just to try and I know we're supposed to be trying to wind down, but you mentioned that it's like maybe that was one of the other problems with like Dino Charge. The first half is that they threw so many plot-filled episodes at us, nothing really felt like filler, and then they realized, oh crap, we have all this other stuff to deal with. Here comes all the filler.
Yeah, because
Pacing wise, I think that's part of the problem, and I'm going to say this is probably Nick's fault considering the way that they run their seasons with
and yeah,
20
because they're only
episode
allowing
blocks.
20 episode seasons. Yeah,
And so I feel like part of that also has to do with a lot of all the fans, or at least most of the fan base, was down on Megaforce and Super Megaforce, so they jam all this decent stuff into Dino Charge to try and wipe that memory from the fan base. And then when it gets to this, it's like, and we blew our loads way too fast. Whoops.
oh yeah,
So
both barrels.
yeah, pretty much. So it's just like,
But yeah, because most of the because again, I've watched the episode that we will technically not be talking about in this episode. I've seen that episode already, and
yeah. If I had seen it, we would have included it, but I haven't seen it, so
basically, it's one of those filler episodes where the Rangers get where a few of the Rangers get under the influence of the monster's gimmick, and then that's the entire episode, except there's like one scene that's more or less plot where a certain character finds something about another character that's plot related, kind of, sort of. We don't know how it's plot related yet.
hmm. So maybe we'll actually have something interesting to talk about next time, whenever that will be.
Hopefully.
I don't know, but yeah. So at this point, I think time to pull the complaint train to a stop, and yes. So
Yes, we gotta stop the complaint train at Imagination Station.
what's sad is I honestly would rather be watching Tokuger.
You know what's funny?
Huh.
One of the Power Ranger trader groups I'm on, that I'm part of on Facebook, this guy shared a photo of MMPR Megazord with the Mastodon shield, Time Force, and with its shield configuration where it has the shield,
Yeah.
and then Tokuo
With its dick out.
holding a condom. And then they went one step further and actually put it on.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Uh, and on a semi-related note to that, since I've been on,
Semi-related to condoms on plastic.
well, no, it's just since I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I've been watching a bunch of anime, and the last one I've been watching or working my way through is Gurren Lagann, and one of the things that is in the show is a giant robot with legs and head, arms, all that stuff, and most of its body is basically shaped like a ship. Its legs are located on one end, and like the rest of its body is like on one side, and so the rest of the ship is just protruding out like a giant dick. And I tweeted on Twitter, so this is where Tokuger got the idea for train boner. Hashtag ship dick.
I feel like they got it from the Transformer Erector.
Maybe, I don't.
There was an old Transformer who, in the G1 cartoon, it was a crane, and right at the Bonero area was his crane hook.
Oh,
Like the
gosh.
extended arm with the hook and everything.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Uh, but whatever, yeah, so. I think that's pretty much all we got at this point. Otherwise, it's just gonna be us going in circles for who knows how long, and yeah, we don't really need to do that. So, For those of you who actually listen to this, thank you for listening, and thank you for waiting for a new episode. It's, like we said before, it's been kind of a storm of stuff trying to do these, but
Yeah.
we are weathering the storm and making it work, so yeah. Thank you for listening, and of course, social media stuff in descriptions. And yeah, so stay tuned for next episode, which is either going to be a retrospective or something completely off the cuff, or who knows. We'll find out.
Cabrincho.
But yeah, so thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Oyasumi.